playing me Mo Powell, baby. Yeah!
Okay.
Congrats, everybody. So today we are going to be doing a fun project with a stick horse. We are going to be taking this thing and giving it Mo Powell, baby. So we have a small 2.5 horse motor of screaming mean ponies that is going to be the heart of this stallion. And we're going to build it out of wood because it's a stick horse. So I went down to the hardware store. I have some, I have a 4x4, some 2x4s, and another plank here that's going to serve as an engine plate. The rest of the bike is going to be made out of scraps that I have from various other projects and should turn out pretty neat. You'll see what this becomes later. Hint. We're going to make as much of this bike out of wood as we can, just because I can. And so I'm going to do that. Let's go. Some people said this wouldn't work. Alright, so I measured the width of our wheel, which is roughly the size of our engine. I did some doodling on the whiteboard and looking at my boards and how they're all going to fit together. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2x4 and I'm going to cut that to length. I'm going to kind of eyeball it, figure out about how long I want it. I think I'm going to leave a space between the motor and wheel big enough for a 2x4, and then at the front of the frame, I'm going to kind of just eyeball about how long I want the frame to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut these two runners. I also need the spacers for the frame, because it's basically going to be a square style box on the bottom. So now we got our base of our frame put together. I have some smaller screws just holding it together. These are definitely not the ones I'll be finishing the build with. I'm going to use some 3-inch decking screws. That's the strongest thing I've got, and so they'll bite a bit deeper. And I'm also going to be gluing the frame together, but we're going to do that absolutely last because I've got a bunch of finishing work to the edges, break out the router and do some stuff, make it look pretty. But this is the base of our frame. Alright, so we got a real solid base now. With it being such a small bike, keeping the portions small, the wood should be plenty strong enough for what we're doing. Alright, welcome back to the garage, everybody. So previously we got most of the frame built. I have that put over to the side. Today I gotta get the neck, the spine of the frame built and start working on the forks. That's going to be one piece, mostly made out of this 4x4. We're going to start out by making our stick pony fit into this. will it work? Oh yeah, and look at that. A little bit of a snug fit with the holes not being absolutely perfect, but I mean I can turn it easily by hand, so as it wears in and the fork back and forth won't be a problem. This will work just fine. So I don't have a flat bit. There we go. I don't have a flat bit that's the correct size. So what I'm doing is I use my hole saw to get most of the way, and then I used a 1-inch to just kind of bore it out. And now I'm going to use some files and chisels, not files, chisels. Use some chisels and get the rest of that mess out of there. And all these are drilled about halfway-ish. These would just be caps, top, and bottom for the forks. So. That's in there. This. Open the crotch. Yeah. There you go. So, looks like that to hold the wheel. Boop. Just feel the turn. That'll work. So here's the back of our frame. This is the front of our bike. Here. Yeah, this side's up. Just gonna sit in between here. Alright everybody, so catch you up real quick. I took all of this apart and trimmed these down a little bit. I took off that 1/4 inch right here and here. And the spine of our bike will fit in between it. What I've done after that is I took it on its side. I set our seat on top and marked it where I want to drill my next hole. So I'm going to drill a hole through here, and then I'll do the same thing going across these two. So as you can see, yeah, I want you to, while you're watching YouTube, it's a whole thing. Check out Kentucky Ballistics. He doesn't know I exist, but he's so awesome. Anyways, we got the hole drilled. It's a little off. It's close enough. I was able to get through it. Just took a little bit of the rubber incentivizer over there. Frame is coming together. As you can see, I have it all mocked up here. I did go ahead and make this other vertical section of the frame. So I'm liking how this is looking. I'm going to take all this apart and cut that down here in a minute. You can see how the neck works here. Put all this together and it'll pivot. But now that I'm looking at it, what I'm probably going to have to do is cut this off and shorten this down, because it's kind of goofy the way it sticks out there extra long. And if my seat is back here, it's got to have me raked forward like that unnecessarily. So I'm probably going to shorten up the neck, and we will go ahead and lose this part. No big deal there. I can just re-drill the hole. I've done that a few times now. So, and also, I think I'm going to remake these parts back here, just because I like the way I did these, where I made them extra tall and then was able to slant cut them, and this just doesn't match up as well. So I'm going to remake them. Shouldn't take me very long at all. All right, quick update, everybody. So we've got the bike frame pretty much built. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start pulling all these pieces apart, and I'm going to get my Dremel out, not my Dremel, router. And I'm going to go over all the edges of the bike that are exposed at least.
For those y'all about to question what I'm going to do here,
No, I don't have a routing table. Yes, I want one. No, I haven't built one yet. I bought one. Is what it is.
if you think this is incredibly stupid,
It kind of is, but hard times. We gotta do what we gotta do. So I got all my routing done. So we're gonna stain the whole thing Sedona Red from Varathane Classic wood stain. I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation. I don't care. Anyways, we have gloss protective enamel Rust-Oleum leather brown. This is what we're gonna do on our engine. I'm gonna get the pull cord cover, the flywheel cover, and probably the fuel tank. I'm gonna paint those brown, just to kind of match the aesthetic of the bike. Because we got the brown leather seat, and I'll also picked up some leather fringe and some leather strapping that I'm gonna put on the grips, and I think that'll look nice. I hope it looks nice. We're gonna see. Hope. All right, so we're a little further in the project now. Show you what I've done. So the bike is torn down. I did a bunch of routing and got all my edges looking good. Now what I'm doing is doing all my surface prep, making the boards look a lot better. So I've got some over here. Everything that's not touched is still in my pile of bike here, but I'm pulling out the pieces and I'm kissing them with a torch just to put a little char to it. I like the way it makes the grain of the wood really pop on white pine. I just like this technique, and I'll show you that here in a minute, how I get to this stage. So this is before sanding, before I do anything. This is just everything made and routed, and it's still rough. And I hit it with a char, and then all the little burrs and bits and things on the wood is what chars first. And then I go back and hit it with a light sanding with my orbital sander, and it comes out just a little bit lighter on the char. Only the deepest spots retain that burn marks, and the rest of it gets sanded away. And so you still get a little bit of the grain showing through, and again, I like the way it looks, nice and pretty. Also, it dries the surface of the wood and helps it take stain. Originally, I was thinking this was going to be more like a dark brown, I don't know, dark brown. And I got that red stain I showed y'all earlier. Well, I did a test piece to see what that would look like, and it's really red. like really, really red. Not super crazy about that. I'm letting this piece dry. I just stained it a few minutes ago. It looks like it's going to be pretty red. So I may go back with a second coat of a different color, like walnut or something, and darken this and make it look a bit more brown. But anyways, charring it, the red really doesn't do it justice. It really hides some of that. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. And I'm probably going to go back and restain this a darker color. But I'm going to still do all of them the exact same so that the whole bike is nice and uniform looking. So anyways, I'm going to take the rest of my pile over here. I'm going to show you how I'm doing my burning. And I'll get to that stage, then the light orbital sanding, then the coat of the red stain. Let me grab my torch, show you what I'm doing here. You grab your little block of wood here. Yes, we're playing with fire, so keep your fire extinguisher handy. Be real careful. Obviously, I'm wearing nitrile gloves, and those melt easy. So the boards don't get too terribly hot, because obviously I'm able to freehand it while I'm doing this. But still be careful if you try this at home. There's a little fire here. There's a good distance. If you're too close, I'm going to turn a little bit. If you're too close, the flame kind of hits and washes out. So there's kind of a perfect medium. Depends on the pressure of your tank. And you just kind of paint the flame on there. Obviously I'm indoors, so you got to be careful not to actually catch the wood on fire. We're just charring it. Like that. Don't want to make a fire inside. Just charring the wood. Ever so slightly. You got to be careful with this. But I've done my counters in the kitchen and a few other projects this way, and I really like the way it looks. Nice and pretty. So there. And I have pencil mark on that side. I gotta sand this too, so that work will be redone off camera. Not much on the sanding. So there you go. You can tell the difference here between the unburned and the burned, and then after a light sand. You see a little bit of a zigzag here. That could have been sanding technique. It could have been that I didn't burn it as heavily right here. You can always go back and rechar this and then hit it again with a sander. I did that on one of these pieces, and I couldn't tell you which one because it all come out uniform. Right? So, anyways, this is how we're going to do the bike. Alright, a little butter. So, pencil marks are now gone. Lumber mill stamp is gone. This is where I'll actually. This is where I'll actually burn it, burn the whole thing, and sand it, and get a finished board. If you do try this, something else you can come across, and it'll be kind of interesting. This is a little line of sap on the wood. And this burns differently than the rest of the dried wood. You'll see this kind of bubble a little bit, and that's fine. I'm gonna sand it, no big deal. But you will notice it burns differently. So if you try this, just be aware. All right. There you go. See it kind of bubbling here. It's hard to do on the camera. Kind of like a Bob White, Bob, the painter guy, you know what I'm talking about. You know, the pretty parts is in the flaws and defects, so. There goes my torch, running out of fuel. Another little trick to keep it nice and even is kind of pick a line and then heat rises, right? So kind of paint up. and the heat will just wash over the board. You get a nice uniform charred stripe, or as uniform as it's going to be. Okay, there you go. Nice, complete board. I didn't char the ends, like I said. I'm going to get glued to another piece. That's it for sanding. It goes nice and quick, having all the burrs mostly burn off, and so yeah, that speeds up the sanding process, and that's all I'm doing on that, and this is ready for stain. That's it. All right, everybody, so let's do a quick update. There goes my Brad there. Anyways, so some things have changed. Done a little bit of cleaning up and made a little bit more mess. But here is the frame. I've got my phone kind of closer than I meant to. Anyways, here you go. So I didn't like how red it was, and I did some sanding on it, as you probably saw previously. And we restained it with a nice walnut, nice and pretty. And then I went ahead and started gluing it back together. I put a lot of clamps on it and shot some glue in there. We used Gorilla wood glue. This is really great stuff next time you have a woodworking project. Nice and strong. Easy to work with. I got it all over my hands, but it cleans up easy too, so it's great. Anyways, drove the dowel through there and covered everything in wood glue. It smashed it all together. And then, to make it extra stupid strong, we drove finishing nails through there with my brad nailer. So, everything is extra super duper strong. Also on the engine plate, I know I said I was going to peg everything, but it just wasn't working out. I'm not that good of a carpenter, it turns out, so I put screws in it. So I have screws all along here and lots of extra finishing nails, and it's definitely going to hold together now. But yeah, so we've got that all put together. The frame is all done. We got the spine all put together. All of this is nailed up, nice and pretty. And we got the forks done. As you can see here, it turns left and right. All we gotta do is add the handlebars and the seat and the wheels and the engine and the foot bags and the rest of the motorcycle, really. We just got the forks and the frame done. But having the forks and frame done is a big part of the project. So we'll get back at it tomorrow after a little bit of sleep, and we'll get her done. Bye. Welcome back to the garage, everybody. So today we're going to be getting our handlebars done. So this was originally a piece of rail, or for a handrail. It's a post, and cut it here. Now we're going to be handlebars. Some sort of way, I'm going to get them on here, and I'm going to probably angle cut these so I can fit them together, about like that. And then we're going to fit our controls on there. And that's going to be our handlebars up on there. So there you have it. Alright, so we got our handlebars on here. I went with a 30-degree angle for the point here, which is the same angle I had set for the spine of the frame. So that gave me a 30-degree rake angle. Anyways, we use that same 30-degree angle here, and I did an angle cut on both pieces so they could touch together. We ran some finishing nails through there and glue, and then screwed down right here onto the forks. And I think it looks pretty good. There you go. Get the dirt now. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna slap some stain on here, and we'll start working on getting the seat mount done. And there's not a lot else left of the bike. Here's another finishing touch we're gonna add on here. There are some nice wooden stars. These actually came apart on me. I'm gonna put that back together. But it'll be a nice wood cap with a wood star on there.
Okay.
All right. Let's get it back down. Woo. Dragging belly a little bit. All right, let's turn that off. That's kind of irritating. Okay.